So, to many, when did the big red machine dynasty die? If you said 1976, you'd be wrong. Pretty much it was 1979. 1979 was the last time this Johnny Bench led squad won an NL West title and lost a really rough series that year to the the Pirates in three straight games. No one was beating the Pirates that year for the world title, even though it took 7 games against the Orioles. But the Reds that season were basically the last, what do you call, whispers of the great Reds teams early in the year from 1970 to 78. So John McNamara had replaced Sparky Anderson as leader of the team. Did a really good job with what he had. He had 5 or 6 players more than 70 RBIs, some good pitchers, good relief staff, and like I said, just their outmatch against the Pirates. Now, the 91-71 record left him 1.5 games better than the Astros. Of course, the Astros had playoff success into the 80s. It was a year of great change for the Reds, who lost a longtime star Pete Rose to the Phillies, and of course, he got him to the World Series in 1980. Now, the Phillies signed Rose as an unrestricted free agent. Also, longtime manager and future Hall of Famer Sparky Anderson was fired by new general manager Dick Wagner when Anderson refused to make changes in his coaching staff. Of course, he ended up going to acting, the famous WKRP in Cincinnati episode. Now, McNamara guided the Reds to his first West Division title in 3 years. Last one he won was in '76, and he went on to win the World Series against the Yankees. Wagner replaced longtime GM Bob Housam, who retired after running the Reds for 12 years. Through some good drafts and several key trades, Housam built a team that won 6 division titles. Again, it played in 4 World Series, winning 2 during the 70s, 70, 72, 75, 76. Now, when the National League Championship Series went to the Pirates in 3 straight games, again, the Pirates' better overall team played out. It was the first time in 4 tries the Pirates had upended the Reds in a league title series since Major League Baseball began divisional play in '69. It will also been Cincinnati's last postseason appearance until 1990, and again, they won the World Series in '90 in a major upset over the A's. Now, the Reds, of course, played their home games at Cavernous Riverfront Stadium. Now, that year, again, the Dodgers had a terrible season in '79-'83, but of course, they reloaded. See, what helped Cincinnati that year, they were very strong against the NL East, having a winning record against most of the teams. So it worked to their would work to their advantage. They were 8-4 against the Phillies, 8-4 against Pittsburgh, 8-4 against the Mets, 6-6 against Montreal, 5-7 against the Cubs, and 12-6 against Atlanta. Now, this was an interesting year in the that season. Paul Blair was signed as a free agent, the former New York Yankee. Cham Summers, again, was traded, actually, by the Reds and the Tigers for a player to be named later. Sheldon Burnside came back. And then Pedro Bourbeau was finally traded by the Reds after numerous years there to the Giants for Hector Cruz. Now, this was a very interesting season. The home run power was not there, played a big factor. Johnny Bench hit .276 with 22 homers, 80 RBIs. Dan Dreesen had 18 home runs, 75 RBIs. Joe Morgan in off-season had 9 homers and 32 RBIs, batting only .250. Ray Knight had a breakthrough season with .318, 10 homers and 79 RBIs. Concepcion led the team in at-bats with .590, 1684, .281. George Foster, 30 home runs, 98 RBIs in limited action of 121 games. Cesar Geronimo, .239, 4 home runs, 38 RBIs. And Ken Griffey, only 95 games, 8 homers, 32 RBIs. Now, the bench played a bigger factor this year. Collins, who later went on to the Yankees and the Blue Jays, had 3 home runs and 35 RBIs. Junior Kennedy in limited action, 1 home run, 17 RBIs. Hector Cruz after the trade, 4 homers, 27 RBIs. Paul Blair, 2 homers, 15 RBIs with only a 150 average. And Ken Henderson, the young Ken Henderson was there, as well as Ron Oster. Now, the starting pitching staff, of course, Tom Terrific had another great season, 16-6 with 131 shutouts. Michael Koss went 14-8, Fred Norman 11-13, and Bill Bonham went 9-7. Tom Human 10-9, Paul Moscow 5-4, and Frank Pastore 6-7. Now, Doug Bear had a very strong season, 11-7 with 16 saves, and Dave Tomlin and Pedro Barboa had the last saves for the Reds. Now, the big factor in the Pittsburgh Cincinnati series came in the opening game. It went to extra innings. Cincinnati had trailed early 2-0, tied it up in the fourth inning. Foster hit a big home run, but the Pittsburgh scored 3 runs in the 11th inning to win 5-2. Extra innings, Pittsburgh won again, 3-2 in extra innings in Cincinnati, and with Doug Bear unfortunately taking a loss. And the return match at Three Rivers, there was no competition in this one. Pittsburgh staked itself to a 6-0 lead, and eventually home runs by Stargell and Madlock did the factor. And the big hit, of course, for Cincinnati was Johnny Bench's solo home run. Now, the idea about the Reds in this season, like I said, you could feel this was it, because the NL West was changing, the NL East was changing. You were seeing Expos come on, Phillies, but the Pirates had outlasted Montreal. It would have been interesting seeing Montreal against Cincinnati in that series with all the young players on the Expos. But Montreal was down in the last weekend of the season. I think they had to sweep the Pirates to really get in, and they didn't have enough pitching strength on that final weekend to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of the Cincinnati Reds, 1979, the last gasp of the Big Red Machine. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.